The Intelligence Bureau now has issued an advisory to all states to step up security and ensure the protection of foreigners in the wake of the US launching the airstrikes against the ISIS. The IB, remember, has also raised the alert against ISIS sympathizers in the wake of airstrikes in Syria. And breaking down all the details is Vicky, who's joining us live on that very crucial story. Vicky, this is a very, very significant bit of information that you're breaking down to us here on Times. And obviously, this comes in the wake of the US strikes. And we've obviously seen, a pattern whenever such things happen. We see the sympathy levels go up, and perhaps that is why this advisory now has been issued by the IB.
Yeah, that's correct. The advisory is specific to a couple of states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Bihar, and also Uttar Pradesh. The problem is that these states have shown a lot of potential for ISIS recruiters, and especially if you see that in a couple of states like Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, the recruitments have been extremely high. So while the NIA and the intelligence and the rest of the security agencies are trying to beat that perception that the ISI has created, that they need more and more people into their fold. Now with the airstrikes, there's always been a trend where it's showing that when groups such as Al-Qaeda or for that matter the Taliban has been hit, there is a considerable number of people who actually feel sympathetically towards them and tend to make US as their enemy. And in the wake of these airstrikes being launched now by the US, the perception of the threat perception of the ISIS only gets higher.
Yes, and Vicky, let's not forget that even the ISIS has come forward and issued a statement where it's in fact asking all its followers, its recruits, to come forward and attack all US and French citizens. And obviously this is also bound to increase tensions and get the, IB here quite worried.
Yeah, that's correct. The US and the Israeli citizens in India especially have always been high on the threat perception. And now with the ISIS, earlier it was the Al-Qaeda, and now with the ISIS also joining the bandwagon, the threat also, gets even more higher. And also the ISIS making such a declaration that, you should attack US and French nationals, including UK nationals also. It kind of, what the intelligence and the rest of the security agencies are worried is that it kind of gives them, a blood rush to go and do something like this in order to impress their bosses back in Iraq and Syria.
And Vicky, let's not forget the timing of this entire event, because, this is coinciding with Prime Minister Modi's visit to the US, and the US already has launched this offensive against the ISIS. So perhaps we should expect more concern. And, as you've been rightly pointing out, because of the recruits being happening in certain states, clearly the IB does not want to leave any chances here.
Yeah, that's correct. They want to leave nothing to chance. And also, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi does visit the US, there are going to be a couple of issues regarding the ISIS and also the Al-Qaeda setting up its India operations, which will also be raised because the primary problem that we found here is the recruitments are happening online, and online websites are beyond the control of India. And, it's a huge battle that we need to fight. While on one hand, what India can do is prevent recruitments and, drives which are happening on the ground. But what about those online recruitments? Whether all 30,000 plus websites which are specifically created by ISIS and the Al-Qaeda to recruit people online.
Yes, Vicky, isn't that the real concern? For the moment, many thanks for getting us those details. So IB now has also raised the alert against the ISIS sympathizers in the wake of the airstrikes in Syria.